Happy Saturday. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift episode 117. 117 weeks in a row. No weeks off. My goodness is consistency and commitment is superpower. We got a very special guest on today. I couldn't be more excited. We're bringing on Big Dave right now, and let's get this party started. Let me know how y'all feeling in the chats. Also, let's drop some questions for the guests in the chats. Big Joe, I see you on. We're going to bring you on in less than five. Big Dave, I see you. You sex kangaroo. Big Dave's in New York City. Let's do this. Big Dave. Ooh. Did you get a workout in?
What's going on?
You look good. New York looks good on
Man,
you.
it's this New York vibe, you know. It's where I belong. I love New York. I love seeing you, and I love that view behind you. And I got the similar one behind me.
Hell yeah. It was great to see you yesterday. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
I I think it was 2 days and 2 nights ago. Yeah, 2 days. So anyway, it was great to see you. Thank you.
Great to see you. Happy birthday to Nia.
Yeah, man, very excited. 22, and she's taking New York by storm. She's a triple threat, and I'm so proud of her. Love her, and I always have her back. So thank you for bringing that up. We love Mia.
What do you love most about New York City? Asking for a friend.
Oh yeah. So it's the energy. You know, like I think it's awesome that I could take a China bus to Philly, and the bus driver have a higher frequency or vibration than some of the big CEOs that I know out on the West Coast. There's a different vibe, and there's a higher frequency in New York, a greater awareness. It's a melting pot of people, ideas, cultures, and of course, I love the food.
Fair enough. There's very good food here.
Amazing.
Yeah,
So people and food would be in that order.
Speaking of food, I'd like to take a bite out of you.
Thank you. The big apple, baby.
We have an awesome guest coming on. One of the things that I've been talking about a lot, you taught me, it's what I'm all about right now, is building a personal brand. And I highly suggest no matter what anybody does, they should consider it. I personally, I would even go a step further and say they should be all about it. It's just so advantageous for so many reasons. I was looking at your content, which I always do, and the audience should be doing as well. And you were talking about when you first started kind of building the personal brand, when you were transitioning, you had this 20-year plan. Why that, and why was that so important for you, Dave?
Well, it was important because I understand math and I understand energy. And I know the biggest deterrent for people to build a community, because that's how I see building a brand. It's not an ego-based emotion that most people, you know, I've been blessed to run a notable sports agency for years, and I understood personal brand by representing some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment, but it wasn't about the person. It was about the community that they built and supported. That's why we always required all of our clients to give back to the community, to have a purpose, a cause, a charity that they were tied to. And if they wouldn't, we wouldn't represent them. And to that measure, I saw how communities were built, and they weren't built overnight. The three characteristics that build a community are that people aggregate, they attract more like people, and that takes time. And as people aggregate, as you provide value to the community, it exponentially grows. 2 people turns to 4, turns to 8, turns to 16. And it keeps on doubling. And then if you stay consistent in providing value with your essence, with your skills, knowledge, and desire, it will accelerate. So it actually happens faster. That helps to accommodate the human nature that we think that good behavior creates instant results, meaning outcome. See, good behavior does create instant results. It's not outcome, it's progress. And so I took a 20-year plan and said, after year 1, I want 2 Craig Siegels. I want 2 ambassadors of mine that tell everybody every single time, you got to follow Dave, you got to watch his TV shows, his podcasts, read his books, hire him to speak, get him to coach you, come to his free Friday trainings, get his free book, whatever it is. Craig Siegel's out there, and I don't have to pay Craig Siegel. Craig Siegel's out there getting 2 people a year for me. And if I have Craig Siegel times 2 and then times 4 and then times 8, yes, in the first 5 years, I'm only going to have 64 Craig Siegels getting me 64 new people. But in year 20, I'll have 2 million Craig Siegels getting me 2 million Craig Siegels every year. So I tell people all the time, if you want to pay me 10 grand a year, I will build your community for you. You got to give me 20 years, $200,000. But I guarantee that no matter what you want to be the most popular at in the world, whether it be your book, your podcast, acting, whatever it is that is your essence, I know how to build a community of millions within 20 years or faster. But most people will quit and ask for a refund after the first year when there's only 2 Craig Siegels, or especially after the 5th year when there's only 64 Craig Siegels.
I love this. And I love that you think about it like an ambassador, because we can only get so far alone. How do you think you're able to connect with people so impressively that they want to then tell a friend, tell 2, and share your message with people?
Well, what I try to do is know my own frequency, understanding my skills, my knowledge, and my desire, and being as clear as I can to articulate quantitative value, to be of value. But I use a systematic approach of meeting people where they're at and asking them questions, being more interested than interesting. So I may meet you and say, hey, Craig, where are you at today according to your book, right? And you'll tell me what you're participating in as a perception. Then I'll say, what do you like about that process of writing your first book? What don't you like? What are you worried about? And then I just make suggestions. Hey, would it help you if I found you this community, or a better printer, or promoted, or reviewed, or whatever it is? And what happens is, instead of being interesting and telling people how you can be of service or value, I ask questions about how you're participating in a perception, meeting you where you're at, and then deriving value by seeing 2 things. Because value can only be derived in these 2 ways: giving people more of what they like, or diminishing the interference between them and what they like, meaning what they don't like. And so I've gotten really good at quickly honing in on where people are today, what they like and what they don't like, and then making suggestions or asking, would it help you if? And once we get that relationship in place, I now can create an opportunity to provide even more value by asking my secondary question, which is, do you know anyone that can help me, Craig? I'm looking for people to come to my Free Friday training, or my meetup, or my VIP dinner, or listen to my podcast, review it, whatever it may be. And exponentially, it aggregates, compounds, and accelerates, and builds that community bigger, faster, and better.
You create like win-win scenarios for both parties.
Absolutely. We want a community of people that want to help each other and know people who can help each other.
You really are a systematic, charismatic sex machine. It's unbelievable.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, brother.
Should we bring on G.I. Joe?
Yeah, let's bring on G.I. Joe Tolzmann.
I'm very, very excited about this one. I haven't had the opportunity of connecting with him yet, just briefly on Instagram.
Oh, he's one of my favorite people, and he's part of our community, man. He's the vibe and the tribe. You'll see in moments and minutes how great this guy is. What's up, Joe?
What's up, Big Joe?
Guys.
How you doing, brother?
See you, David. Great to meet you, Craig.
Great to meet you, brother. Thank you for dialing in. Where are you dialing in from right now?
From Vancouver, British Columbia, West Coast.
Love it, baby. Love it. Let's hit the party right now. For our audience that might not be familiar, we always suggest do a deep dive, checking all the stuff Joe's got going on. But how can we not come out right out the gate and ask you, what's the deal with Rocket Plant Technologies? You're so passionate about it. It's so exciting to you right now. What's the deal with it?
Craig, the feeling when you drive to the airport and you approach an intersection and the light turns green, and then the next light turns green, and the next one is green. The feeling of happiness, the gratitude when things are connecting. So that's what's currently happening with Rocket Plan. To give you a summary, what Rocket Plan is, it's a solution that helps property restoration contractors document everything they do at the job site, report to insurance companies, and streamline the entire insurance claims process. So insurance claims are very heavy on data collection, reporting, and prior to Rocket Plan, there was no good solution that enables field workers to easily capture the data on the go And that's the problem we solve for the industry.
Love it. Talk about elevator pitch. Got that banged out right there, right, Dave?
Well, I think the bigger picture of Joe and why I just fell in love with this guy as an entrepreneur beyond the mindset, heart set, and handset is there was, as you know, my favorite quote given to me by Bob Parsons, CEO of GoDaddy, when he said, Dave, if you learn to love what you do, if you enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential of what you do, it will tell you all its secrets. And one of the things that I know about Joe from the very start, if he backs up the truck, whether he was working backstage at, an ice cream parlor or, as an immigrant, not even knowing English, he was finding and utilizing that mindset to enjoy what he did. He was way more interested than interesting. He was willing to put in the work and not quit. And life just kept telling him all his secrets. And that's why all he's getting now in his life is green lights, because he had the patience and persistence to wait at every red light until he figured out how to turn it green.
Yeah, beautifully said. I love when I meet awesome, fascinating entrepreneurs. I imagine just like all of us, sometimes we're still figuring things out, but I also imagine you have a very specific vision of where you're taking this thing. What does that look like?
Yeah, so we solve the problem for the industry. We're really focused on making it easy for the people to use, easy for the companies to implement and provide immediate value. So the product we build solves the problem globally, any geolocation, any size of the company. So we're heavily focused on helping as many people as we can throughout the industry to provide an immediate value to them.
What is that, Dave?
Yeah, but it's also a key component of what he said is he's interested in providing value, not making money, right? Like he found an area that he could create efficiencies with an effective approach and statistical success utilizing data and technology in order to deliver value. And there is a difference of people that see things as a zero-sum game where they're trading in negotiations in a situation that's highly charged and emotional. Time is of the essence. And then to provide a value in a time of distress or dis-ease, what Joe actually does is create ease. And that provides so much value. If anyone's ever had a situation, especially with their biggest investment, which is real estate, most people on earth, their biggest investment they'll ever make is real estate, their own home. And when there is a distressful situation with your largest investment and someone's able to cure that rapidly and accurately, what that entails, as we stated earlier, is providing value, giving people either more of what they like, or what did I say? Diminishing the resistance and interference between them and what they like. So they're solving that dis-ease. He's putting people at ease and providing value, regardless of how niche it is. The riches are in the niches when you provide value, and that's what Joe does.
My approach has always been provide value. That's how you become valuable. So I've been rereading this great book, and it really talks about money is important. It was written by this guy, David Meltzer. Forgiveness. He tells, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a great time with it.
Yeah, I love that. Adding value makes you valuable. And it's funny because I wanted to ask you next, because in the entrepreneur space and really just cats like us that are on the same frequency, imagine personal development or human development is a big part of your routine. Obviously, you have Dave's book right there. But what do you typically do on a day-to-day basis to really enhance your personal development and continue learning and stay inspired?
Eating healthy, sleeping enough, exercising, and I think most important thing, stay away from toxic people. Keep the balance, bring people to your life who inspire you, motivate you to do good, and connect with like-minded people.
Joe, how ruthless are you about that, protecting your energy?
It's very important.
Craig, it's interesting that he brings that up, because as we do free trainings and meetups, of course, the VIP stuff that we do, the one-on-one stuff that we do, I start seeing clues, patterns, and start deriving different choices that people make to accelerate where they're at, to see a higher self, a potential, which Joe and you, obviously are in that pursuit of, and I've seen extraordinary growth since I've known both of you. But it's interesting because this idea of feeding and bleeding has always been an issue. I've watched the clues of people who don't want to be bled, that are cognizant about the people and the ideas that they surround themselves with. And you were at a meetup with me, Craig, 2 days ago in Times Square. And one of the epiphanies that I had was it's not only determining the feeding and bleeding spectrum or chain, which all three of us have discussed in the past, but it's also the variety or variable of who's most relative to you. I'll give you an example. My mom bleeds me, right? She's 80 years old, and but she has fed me for so long that I have a different spectrum of how much time I give to my mother, even though there's a bleeding aspect to my relationship. If anyone has a Jewish mom, they can relate to that. But it doesn't mean I don't love her. So I think it's important to start looking, even when you get to an expertise of surrounding yourself with the right people, the right idea, that we also give a quantitative value to the people that are most relative to us and institute more gratitude and forgiveness and allow them to bleed us a little bit more. It's more for me as you get down to the lower rungs of relativity. If I'm going to have an intern, for example, they're not going to bleed me. You're not going to get any of my time. Or if I meet a business associate, I'm not doing business with you if your values are not aligned with mine and you bleed me. But my mom, plenty of gracious time and forgiveness for her to bleed me. And I think it's interesting to be able to have a variable component to your perspective of who you allow to bleed you, and be very conscious, like Joe and you are, about relationships that you don't know very well or don't have you have a greater choice for, to definitely don't let them bleed you. Let them fall away or fire them from your life.
Dave, I know exactly what you talk about. Someone in the comments wrote, what does it mean to bleed you? I imagine you would define that as someone that depletes your energy.
Perfect.
Yeah, this is great.
Or creates interference between you and your potential, your energy, right? The all-knowing, all-powerful. If someone's interfering with that or creates interference to it, because TV shows can do it, right? Like I can't watch that. I love certain people on The Housewives. They're friends of mine, but I can't stand the show because it bleeds me, man. It interferes with my potential.
I agree with you 100%. It's funny because my fiance and I, she always wants to watch something that I just see no purpose in, like at the end of a long day, and I totally get that, but I always
tell her to watch it with Julie. Tell her to come and watch it with Julie.
Done. We'll land the plane with this one. Joe, Dave and I opened the show by talking about personal branding. 2023, I think it's essential for everybody at this point. I know you're building a personal brand as well, in addition to the awesome company that you're building. How important is building a personal brand to you, and what is something you do to continue to elevate your personal brand?
In my opinion, personal brand is kind of like, back in the day when person couldn't read and write. Today, if you don't have personal branding, you're just not going to be able to advance as your full potential. So I think it's very critical to start building the brand as soon as possible for any person early in their career. What I personally do, I learn from other people how to elevate my game, from David in particular, and everybody I come across. So it's an ongoing process.
Yeah, I will add that building a brand doesn't mean you have to be Gary Vee. And I was with Gary yesterday, had this conversation about this idea of micro communities, that people lose sight on the power of having 1,000 ambassadors. But you have to build your brand to have 1,000 ambassadors in your community. And you can change lives with 1,000 ambassadors. In fact, Greg, specifically that my mission to empower over 1 billion people is actually based off of finding 1,000 ambassadors who will find 1,000 ambassadors who will find 1,000 times 1,000, a million times 1,000 is a billion. That's 1/8 of the earth. That's a collective consciousness that can change the whole world. So in my mission to impact the whole world, to pursue their potential and to live in abundance, it's simply that 1,000 people. So I encourage people not to get intimidated that you have to be Kim Kardashian or The Rock or Gary Vee or David Meltzer, but you should build your own brand to have 1,000 of those ambassadors in your life that you can create a positive impact with your essence, with your skills, your knowledge, and your desire.
I love that. I just wanted to add on to that, Dave. You made a very well documented pivot and reinvention from what you do to what you're doing now.
Expansion.
What's that?
I call it expansion.
Expansion. And I imagine if you wanted to reinvent yourself again, you would have a relatively seamless flow because you already have a brand and a community built into you, and they're excited about what you're doing. Would you agree?
Yeah. You talked about that. We featured you at the VIP event, and I thought it was very poignant and an excellent value add to the entire community that you were talking about. And Jen Gottlieb agreed with you as well, who's an expert at personal branding, is along with us, that it's all about the community. And Dr. Jacobs, the CEO, founder of Qualcomm, he told me this when he mentored me in the 90s. He said, Dave, what business am I in? I said, you're in the chip business, right? Dual chip mode, CDMA. That's your business. He said, no, I'm not. I own my customer. See, if you own your customer, meaning in your community, you can sell them insurance, you can provide value, charitable concepts, whatever you want to do. It transcends and aligns with the expansion, not the transition. There's no start or stop to a community. It's just expanding, growing, and accelerating. And then you align what's doing well, what's stable, and what you think is going to be doing well in the future. Who knows? Joe and I may be selling some SaaS solution for roofing someday to our community. You never know. So keep it up, you guys. Keep doing well. Be happy, learn lessons, find the light, and keep empowering others to empower others.
Dave, I'm going to come find you later today, give you a big bear hug. Joe, I'm so excited to connect with you, and I'm looking forward to connecting further. And for our whole community on the Paradigm Shift that joins us for 117 weeks in a row, what's the best way for all of them to follow along and support you, Joe?
Instagram is the best place. So
there you
love
go.
connecting in person at the conferences. So wherever we go.
Awesome.
I'll see you soon, Joe. I think we're in Canada next week or so, depending on what you count this weekend as. We'll see you in Toronto at Collision. Hopefully, Craig's coming with us. I think we got a stage for you, buddy.
What's with the hope?
Okay,
I
have faith.
We're doing it.
We're all getting together. We're going to have a great VIP dinner up there, too. I'm going to feature both of you at that VIP dinner. We'll do another Q&A for the audience up there. I think we got Baron Davis and Jim, a few really big stars to join my 2 stars with me. So everybody email me if you want to join Craig and I and Joe, david@dmeltzer.com. We'd love to have you up there. We'll get you a ticket to Collision as well. Come and join us at the show. See these 2 gentlemen on stage. We're going to be doing interviews. Thank you both. I'll see you later. I'll be at Chelsea Pier hitting balls with Miles right now if you want to swing over.
I'm going to text you a little bit. Thank you both. Have an awesome weekend, guys. Thank you for the value.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for having me.
Bye,
Awesome
guys.
job. Bye, guys.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Guys, that was so much fun. Paradigm Shift episode 117 in the books. We'll be back next week for Paradigm Shift episode 118. A couple quick things, guys. I understand how important personal branding is. Everybody should be doing it. It'll create more opportunities than you ever dreamed possible to fulfill your passions, your purpose, monetize, make a whole lot of money. So I created a cheat sheet, and I want to give it to you guys away for free. All you have to do is text the number on the bottom of the screen, 917-634-3796. Just text personal branding cheat sheet. I'll send it right over. And then obviously we have the book coming out in less than 2 months, The Reinvention Formula, endorsed by Dave, John Gordon, Jim Rohn, Dr. Caroline Lee. I'm really excited about it. I don't know everything, guys, but one thing I do know is how to reinvent yourself and pivot very successfully and start something new and build a community and the mindset and all that stuff. So if you haven't grabbed it yet, pre-order is available now. Just go to thereinventionformula.com and you can join our launch team, get access to all the bonuses, our private virtual event, which is going to be the biggest event we've ever thrown with huge guest speakers. And we're treating that group like a mastermind, and you can get in. All you have to do is purchase the book, reinventionformula.com, go to Amazon or anywhere, and then come back and redeem your bonuses. I love you guys so much. That was a big value add. I loved every second of this. And I'm curious, guys. Text me, what do you want to know more about in regards to personal branding and all that stuff? Because I want to help everybody. I know how important it is. I know what we've been able to do. So what are you struggling with? Are you not struggling? What do you love about personal branding? Let's chat. I'd love to engage. Shoot us a text at the bottom of the screen, totally free. And then also, obviously, reinvention formula, baby. We love you guys. We're so grateful. We're so proud. This was awesome. And we'll be back next week for the reinvention formula. Excuse me, for the paradigm shift. I'm all about the reinvention formula right now. The paradigm shift, episode 118. Love you guys.